You don't need to have used PHP before. I explain everything you need to know to understand the code. I don't assume that you're already familiar with programming jargon, but once I've explained a concept, I'll use the appropriate technical expression thereafter. If you've been using JavaScript or jQuery, you'll find a lot of the concepts are very similar, but they're not always the same. I'll point out similarities and differences where appropriate, but knowledge of JavaScript isn't essential. PHP is a server-side language, so you'll need a suitable testing environment. It needs to run PHP 5.2 or later. For Chapter 6, you'll also need a MySQL database. The minimum version should be 5.0. And to load some data into MySQL from a text file, I recommend using a front-end tool such as PHP The best way is to install a local testing environment on your computer. There are several all-in-one packages that install PHP, MySQL, and PHP On Windows, my preference is to use XAMPP. On my Mac, I use MAMP. Both are free. If you don't want to install a local testing environment, you can use an existing website, as long as it has PHP and MySQL installed. However, it's not as convenient because you need to upload your files every time you make a change. If you need help with installing a local testing environment, check out Installing Apache, PHP and MySQL with David Gassner on lynda.com. Whichever testing environment you choose, I recommend that it should be configured to display error messages and that error reporting should be set to the highest level. If you're using MAMP on a Mac, the display of errors is turned off by default. Be sure to watch the separate video in this course to show how to turn them on. When it comes to writing PHP code, whichever program you're currently using to write HTML pages should be sufficient. However, you'll find it easier if your editor has the following features: code coloring for PHP, automatic syntax checking that alerts you to mistakes in your code, PHP code hints and auto-completion, and the ability to find matching opening and closing braces, parentheses, and brackets. In this course, I'll be using Dreamweaver CS6, which has all of these features, but this course doesn't rely on features exclusive to Dreamweaver, so feel free to use whichever program you feel most comfortable with. If your editing program doesn't have the features I've recommended, Joseph Lowry's course on choosing a PHP editor has several alternative suggestions. There's just one final thing that you need: patience. Unlike HTML, programming languages like PHP don't tolerate mistakes. As a beginner, you're likely to make quite a few. I'll try to warn you of common errors, and there's a special chapter devoted to dealing with error messages. Don't let errors put you off. PHP isn't difficult, and you'll find the rewards of persevering really pay off in the end.